What's up everyone, this is George from Your Local Musician and this is episode 15 of the Beats in My Bedroom podcast. Now before you ask, no, I'm not wearing the same t-shirt, I just wear a lot of very dark colours and most people think I'm wearing the same thing over and over and over again. But trust me, I wear a lot of black, although this is more sort of maroon. Now the thing that I wanted to speak about today was how to sort of or at least how I am attempting to push the boundaries in whatever it is that I'm trying to do or whatever you're trying to do. For instance, for me, it's sound design, and so for me, I'm trying to approach the way that I make sound packs differently to how most other people do it, and I want to obviously offer some tips on how you can start to adjust your thinking and how you can hopefully start to do the same sort of thing. Now, one idea that I've always had with the sound design is that a lot of sound designers tend to and kudos to them for whatever way that they want to do it, whatever way works for them. But this is just generally my take on how to push the boundaries on what it is in particular that I'm doing. So for instance, obviously my latest kit, the Panda Kit, that is an entire drum kit made from the recorded sounds of my yellow 2009 Fiat Panda. The entire kit made from one car. So that's a lot of sound designers don't do that. They don't choose one sound source in particular. For instance, a car. So what are some of the things that I did? If you're on my YouTube right now, there is a video out called the making of the Panda Kit, which shows you a lot of this in more thorough detail. But obviously, what are some things that I did? I slammed the door and recorded that, and then obviously the transients from that is very similar to what you would find in a kick. Obviously, because it's quite a unique sound, when you add that into a sampler and obviously do a hell of a lot of modulation to it, you can really start to come out with some very unique tones and timbres, and really start to push the boundaries on what it is that you're doing. Most people that obviously bring out these kits, they'll use a variety of different ways to create a sound. So they won't just, maybe if they're doing it in a Foley sense, so if they're going out and recording real life sounds, or they are doing FM synthesis, but if they're doing Foley sounds, and creating sounds from real life things that are all around us, they'll use a variety of obviously different objects to create the base of that sound for them, that they can then go and manipulate later in their DAW or their outboard gear, and that's fine. That's a great way to do it. I will do some of that in future, but for me, really pushing the boundaries in this for me is getting the very, very most out of the object that I'm technically using. So really, when I'm using just the car, I am kind of limiting what I am capable of doing. So therefore, I kind of find ways to use this certain object to get a multiple of different sounds and timbres out of it. And I might do that by obviously slamming the car door, and obviously that is very similar to a kick. I might flick the door handles, and that's kind of got a bit more of a higher kind of transient to it and a bit more snappier, so therefore it could result in being quite a nice tasty snare. And we have a lot of that in the Panda Kit. That's essentially what we've done. And so that entire kit is obviously made from one object, just hit in multiple different kind of ways. So from that, it created a very sort of unique kind of a sound, very sort of very fitting to lo-fi, for instance, and that's how that was created. And obviously, I would encourage you to kind of think in the same kind of way in whatever it is that you're doing. So, for instance, if you're selling beats online, you might want to obviously switch up your drums a bit, and use more unique sounds, and change time signatures in a hip hop beat and things like that. Bring those influences of metal in. I don't know if that's possible, but think outside the box. This is the way that I'm trying to shake you up a bit, and get you doing different things, and that for me is really kind of the best way to sort of approach it, and that's the best advice that I would really give to anyone that's trying to find their way and find their lane, is to know what the masses do. For instance, what genre they're creating, and maybe create the opposite. And from doing things like this, you will ultimately stand out from the crowd, and people will start to notice you. They may be in small strands at first, but then those strands eventually get longer and bigger, and that's what we call scale. So when you find something that works, do a lot of it, and I mean a lot. For instance, I'm planning my next pack right now, and what is the next outrageous thing that I'm going to use? And it's a funny idea. It's probably the most disgusting idea that you'll ever hear. But when you look at the technical aspects of the elements that are within someone's fart, I'm creating an entire drum kit called the Farty Pants Pack. It was a idea that came to me from my other half. She kind of thought of it, and then I sat back and I thought, okay, that's really weird, that's disgusting, but it's definitely something that's going to make me sort of stand out from the crowd. And then I thought the technical elements involved, and I thought, is it actually possible to create some drum sounds or some 808s from someone's fart? And when you think about it, it really is. The bassiness to a fart is a good first element to, for instance, creating an 808. And if it sounds sick, then it works. That's the way I'm just sort of applying this mindset to the approach to sound design that I have, and obviously, as I said earlier, I encourage you to do the same. So guys, if you like this episode, remember to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you're on the old YouTubes. If you're on any of the audio streaming platforms, remember to follow, drop a comment, and do all the things that you need to do to obviously show love. And I will see you in episode 16.